Hey there, this is Diana Accente, and today we're going to talk about something that I really love, engagement. So let's think about your organization and how much of an engagement do you feel you have on a daily basis? And what are some of the days where you feel less engaged or some that you feel like very much drawn into it and super engaged? There are times in our days that we may not feel so good at being and doing what we're doing at work, and that is very understandable. We are all going through lives, through changes, through all kind of things, exterior and interior kind of forces that is going to change the way we're looking at our daily activities. But now I'm gonna leave this aside because that, although that's a given and everybody knows that, any leader will understand when you don't feel at your best. And I'm gonna talk about the times when you really want to be engaged, because also your employer, it's helping you stay engaged. And those are the times when you come to work and you are very surprised to see that someone remembered that you have done something great, and they stop you in the lobby, or they bring you a coffee and they say, I'm going to do this for you today because you have done something for me last week. And although you did not know how important that was, it was very much important for me. And here is the reason. And just say what the reason is. So now I'm talking about other scenarios when you are called out into a meeting and you are probably painted as having a cap on you and being one of those superheroes. And that is because you tackle an issue when somebody else let the ball drop, or when somebody else was not there, did not feel good, and it was sick at home, and you just realized that you could do and carry the world for them. Those are the moments that actually are going to create that kind of an engagement forces that exist in your organization, which are going to make you want to come to work tomorrow morning, maybe put the clock even a little bit sooner than normal because you can't wait to jump up and come to work. I'm talking about intentionally looking around and figuring out who are you surrounded by. And I'm talking about those moments where you're going to say, I'm going to become so loyal to this place because all my friends are at work. And it's not just my friends, I could just call them my family. And why am I calling them that? Is because I'm spending over pretty much most of my life here. Yeah, think about that. Think about how much time you have time to stay with your kids and how much time you have to stay with your team. I know, it's sad, but that's the truth, right? We sometimes have more time to give to this place than we will give it to our personal life. And at moments in our career, and when we're pretty young and we have no other family, or we have nothing else than the work, then that becomes so critical for us. I'm just painting this picture for you because if that is not something that you already have at your work, you may be looking for another job right now. You may be just searching and kind of thinking, what if I will go in a different place? And my question would be to you, ask yourself, why are you doing that exactly? What are the things that, if you can bring them here tomorrow or maybe next couple of hours sometime, and you have them, will not make you do what you're doing right now, looking for another job. So try to see and recognize that, because you could do something about it. Before you go and you get yourself in a different location, you could just find yourselves that maybe there is more to this job that you have ever thought about it. Maybe there is something that you can do to be heard more that you have done before and you were not heard. we're coming to work and we're expecting in that orientation, that time, to really be welcomed and sustain that energy that we have when we heard we got a job, right? And we came back here just to be overwhelmed with how many IT systems exist and how do I need to comply with this and this and that. And all of a sudden we realize that we are putting ourselves in a box, a square that's going to have all kind of walls around it, and then I don't need to do this, and everybody's talking about what I don't need to do, not about what I can do. And that's a moment when you probably figure out by now it's a little bit too late in the game. I might have just chose the wrong place. You do it anyway because yes, we do have all forces that are coming from outside that you need to put food on the table and have some money on the side. However, think about what that does to your physiological aspects of who you are. Because most of the time, the stress and overwhelm and everything that we talk about that exists and is not helping us to have today, and we're trying to push it away, it's going to transform into something that's going to become probably next day or in a month or 6 weeks or even more than that, a prescription to a doctor. And we don't want to get that, right? We do not want to get to that point, but that's where pretty much everybody's going through when they accept to be in a place where they don't have a time to analyze what is the status. Remember, everybody wants to perform, and so do you. To perform in a place, you will just need to gain trust. And to ensure your employability there, become loyal to that place. Everybody wants the same thing. When that doesn't happen, you have to look at the environment, because you brought in what you have the best. You brought your experience, knowledge, everything that you gained from different places, and you stepped up and you said, I would like to take this role. You convinced some people over the phone or on a face-to-face interview to be there, and that you earn that chance. Now, when you get here, your job is about to start, and somebody's going to look at it, how you're going to perform it. But your job is not just to perform that job. Your job is actually to make that environment better. And if you're just accepting the things that are happening without saying anything or allowing those things to happen to you, and you thinking that you are just caught into this and you have no option, I think you're looking at this in a wrong way. Especially when you work in teams, because the teams are what influences the culture of a company. And whoever is a smart leader will pay attention to this. They will look at what is needed and how those teams are formed and transformed, and the company is transforming with them, not without them, and not in parallel routes, but in the same place with the same force. So what can you do exactly that will help you perform well and stay engaged? One of the things that come to mind that is probably so trivial that probably is not used that much is to have a conversation, a hard conversation when it's needed. And I know it's hard to kind of go back and tell someone in authority that you have a different view and that you're not completely agreeing with where they're taking you. But this environment in which you're supposed to perform, it can block you or it can activate you to perform. So if you just go back and say, I'm going to approach this discussion from what I could see that there is an opportunity for the better of the company to happen. And I'm just providing what I see from where I sit into a discussion without any judgment and without any pressure, just for consideration. And when you come open into that discussion and you initiate it, and you're not charged by emotionally by things, you're going to find out that the other person can come and they can see what you're saying very objectively. And one of the two things can happen in that moment. They can acknowledge that that's a gold that you're giving them and helps them make better decisions. Or if you haven't approached this in the right way, it could backfire. Yes, there is a risk here. There is always a risk in anything we do. There is a risk in what are we wearing and how we're going to dress up today, because it may rain and we did not take that in consideration. Or we may not be dressed up for the situation. So don't worry about the risk at this point, because if you're going to have an increased visibility and you're going to come up with smaller things first, you're going to do a second discussion on something that matters more, and then more, and then more, and you're going to gain what we're calling a trust in the conversation and a trust in that person's mind. Then when you're going to come with little things that matter, that are going to make an impact, and you're not going to blow them away, then you can come up with something that's more important over time. Building trust, it is, and I'm saying this again and again, I know I sound like a very broken record, but it is the foundation of everything. And to set up, to create trust, to be yourself set up for success, it's going to require this trust to be gained, but also maintained and kept in the highest gear possible at all the times. I'm happy to take a situation and deconstruct it for you. If you have anything going on at your place, and if you think you can have some help from me hearing the situation without any kind of attribution to names or to just a scenario, and you like to kind of keep the privacy absolute about what exactly are the people involved, just something that you like to put out, please reach out, because I can tell you from personal experience that is not going to be helpful if you stay in a stressful situation for too long. It's going to only aggravate that place, the moment, and the strength of what you can resist certain things is going to go away. And at that moment, you may just start to react very weak in a certain situations which you know you could actually conquer. And you're going to start to lose some confidence in what you're doing. So it's going to be very detrimental for your position in the end, but also for you as a human person who accumulates this energy every day, and it can get you to be sick. So yes, my invitation is on the table. If you see this and if it resonated with you, if you know what I'm talking about without me saying more, please reach out. I would love to have a conversation with you about this. I would love to be there for you and to show you some of the things that can be done in a way in which you can become even friends with a person who may just give you right now so much headache that you cannot carry it. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.